discuss on the topic chromosomes and the chromatin. What are the chromosomes? DNA molecules are packaged into structure that called the chromosomes. And the chromosomes are so named because they take up certain dyes that used in the microscopy. In the Greek word, chroma means color and soma means the body. And chromosomes seem to appear out of nowhere at the beginning of the cell division and disappears once again follow the cell division. That's when if you see, this is a divisional phase and this is an interphase stage. The chromosomes are not found in the interphase stage. And no trace of the compact chromosome is found in the interphase nucleus. That's when chromosomes are special morphological representation, and that's so the simplest structure in the interphase nucleus. When viewed under the electron microscope, some definite structure that are the nucleoprotein structure that are visible within the nucleus. The structure is called the chromatin. The structure is called the chromatin, which is the precursor of much compact chromosome that observed during the cell divisions. So the chromosomes and chromatin are the same thing, but in different morphological expression. The change is due to packaging of genome by which very long DNA molecules is packed into few micron in length. Each eukaryotic chromosome consists of one very long linear DNA molecules that associated with the proteins. And now the DNA molecules carry several hundred to a few thousand genes, the unit of information that specify an organism's inherited traits. The associated proteins maintain the structure of chromosome and help control the activity of the genes. The proteins that bind to DNA to form eukaryotic chromosome are traditionally divided into two general classes: histone proteins and non-histone chromosomal proteins. Now, together, the entire complex of DNA and proteins, that is the building material of the chromosome, and that is known as the chromatin. And every eukaryotic species has a characteristics number of the chromosome in each nucleus. The nuclei of the human somatic chromosomes that contain 44 chromosomes and 2 sex chromosomes. It is XX in the female body and XY in the male body. So 44 plus 2 sex chromosomes. That's made up of 2 sets of 23, one set inherited from each parent. And reproductive cells or gametes, it may be sperms, it may be eggs, that have one set or half of the somatic cells. That is a 23, N in number, haploid in number. The number of the chromosomes in somatic cells, that's a very widely, in case of the Lebiovoita, the number is 50 in case of the chimpanzee, 48 in case of elephants, 56, and in case of the Panthera it is a 38 number. Generally, as a scientist and the researchers can treat particularly basic pen or dyes on the human chromosomes, that is a molecular tags that causes chromosomes pair to appear of different colors, and that is known as a pentid chromosomes. Now, the interphase chromatin, that is a composed of DNA and the associated proteins, basically a nucleoprotein structure. And chromatin also contain very small percentage of the RNA also, that is a nascent RNA and small nuclear RNA. As the DNA is very long molecule, it must be compacted into definite orders to form chromatin or chromosome structure. DNA never exists free within the cell, but with the association of several protein, definite nucleoprotein structures. This packaging is remarkable in nature because DNA has to maintain its synthesizing gene actions and regulatory function. And if you go through the chromatin organization, that is a first level of the organization, that is a nucleosomal models. Then the second level of the organization, that is a 30 nanometer organizations, and then there's a metaphase scaffold, that is a third level of the condensation. So first one, the first level of the chromatin organizations, here you see the histone proteins associated with the DNA. These are the histone proteins that are associated with the DNA to form nucleosome unit particles of chromatin. And histones are responsible for the first and most basic level of the chromosome organization. That is a nucleosome, and that is discovered by the Roger Convert 1974. The nucleosome gives the chromosome beads on string appearance under the electron microscope. However, it is an artifact, and that produced through a partial digestion of the certain proteins. And nucleosomes are specific association of the histone proteins and some amount of DNA wrapped tightly around the protein. Therefore, the histone proteins play a fundamental role at the initial stage of the chromatin organization. Histone proteins have a very high proportion of basic amino acid, especially lysine and arginine, and that facilitate binding to the negatively charged DNA molecules. And 5 types of histones falls into main 2 categories: nucleosomal histones and the H1 histones. The nucleosomal histones are small proteins. They contain 100 to 235 amino acids. They're responsible for the coiling of DNA. And they're designated as H2A, H2B, H3, and H4. And they're highly conserved in evolution. Whereas the H1 histone, that is a larger protein, and that contains 2 to 0 amino acids, and that have less conserved in evolution, and 1 molecule of histone H1 binds to the nucleosome and acts to stabilize the protein at which the DNA enters and leaves the nucleosome core. A nucleosome core, this is the nucleosome core, plus H1, that is known as the chromatosome. Now, in the fundamental bead on string appearance, the beads are the nucleosome. You see here, that are the beads. The beads are the nucleosome. And the strings are the linker DNA. The nucleosome core, this is a nucleosome core. That is a histone octamer. You see here, this is a nucleosome core, that is a histone octamer, and each one there is a disc separate particles with a diameter 10 nanometer that contain 2 copies of H2A, H2B, H3, and H4. This histone octamer forms a protein core around which 146 base pair of long segment DNA round in 134 ton. On average, nucleosome repeat at intervals about 200 nucleotide pairs of DNA. The size of the linker DNA also varies from species to species and from one cell type to another. Linkers as short as 8 nucleotide pairs, as long as 114 nucleotide pairs have been reported. In normal chromatin structure, the nucleosome core, the linker DNA, and the associated non-histone chromosomal proteins are stabilized by the binding of H1 histones to the outside of the structure. That means within a living cell, chromatin never exists its extended beads on string form. Instead, the nucleosomes are packed upon one another to generate a continuous 10 nanometer structure. Now, the packing of DNA by the nucleosome is about 5 to 7 fold, that is 5 to 7 times more compact in comparison to free DNA. Now the formation of nucleosome converts a DNA molecule into a chromatin thread about 1/3 of its initial length and provides the first level of DNA packing. So this is a first level of the chromatin organizations. Now, what are the second level of the chromatin condensation? This is a higher order solenoid structure, and that is a 30 nanometer fiber. Within a living cell, the chromatin fiber exists as 30 nanometer nucleoprotein structure when the nuclei are very gently lysed onto an electron microscope grid. This is an electron microscopical figure. And most of the chromatin is seen to be in the form of fiber with a diameter of 30 nanometer, which is considerably wider than 10 nanometer beads on a string fiber. Although exact structure of 30 nanometer filament is not clearly understood, most evidence strongly favors the solenoid model. It appears that the basic 10 to 11 nanometer fiber, in turn, it would in a higher order supercoil, that is a solenoid, forming a 30 nanometer fiber. And the idealized structure suggested that the solenoid is formed by 6 nucleosomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 nucleosome pattern. That forming a solenoid, histone H1, these are the histone H1, that play a fundamental role. In fact, in mammalian cell, there are about 6 closely related subtypes of histones H1 necessary to form the solenoid structure. Now, the 30 nanometer fiber, it is a basic chromatin organization within a living cell. However, the 30 nanometer fiber does not exist in a linear fashion. It forms regular loop domain structure. That is a 300 nanometer to produce less condensed structure, that is a euchromatin, and that is a transcriptionally active. Or may form much condensed loops, that's a 700 nanometer, that is a heterochromatin. In the transmission electron microscope, that's show the heterochromatin structure. And this is the nucleus, and the euchromatin that is scattered all over. So euchromatin is composed of 30 nanometer fibers and loop domain chromosomal structure. In contrast, the heterochromatin includes highly repeated DNA sequences with additional proteins and probably represents more compact levels of the organizations. So what are the two properties? One structural and one functional. If you compare in between heterochromatin and euchromatin, the euchromatin is the chromatin that becomes less compacted during interphase. That is a structural property. And that is accessible to the cellular machinery responsible for the gene activity. That is a functional property. Whereas the heterochromatin, on contrary, remain quite condensed during interphase and contains genes that are largely inaccessible to this machinery. Now the compaction level of the interphase chromosome may vary. The variability can be seen with light microscope, and that was first observed by German cytologist Emil in 1928. He mentioned the term heterochromatin to describe the tightly compacted region of the chromosome which are transcriptionally inactive. By comparison, the less condensed, this is the less condensed structure, and this is a highly condensed structure. The less condensed region that known as euchromatin that are capable of gene transcription. In euchromatin, the 30 nanometer forms radial loop domains. In heterochromatin, these radial loop domains become compacted even further. Heterochromatin is most abundant in centromeric regions of the chromosomes and to a lesser extent in the telomeric region also. So now the extent of the chromatin condensation that varies during the life cycle of the cell. In interphase cells, that's the non-dividing cells, most of the chromatin, that is a euchromatin, and that is relatively decondensed and distributed throughout the nucleus, In contrast to euchromatin, 10% of the interphase chromatin, that is a heterochromatin, and that is very highly condensed. This is a very highly condensed state. And that resembles the chromatin of the cells undergoing mitosis. Most of the DNA that is folded into heterochromatin does not contain genes. So what is the importance of the heterochromatin? However, genes that do become packed into heterochromatin are usually resistant to being expressed because heterochromatin is unusual compact. So this does not mean that heterochromatin is useless or deleterious to the cell. Regions of the heterochromatin are responsible for the proper functioning of the telomeres and centromeres that lack genes, and its formation may even help to protect the genome. Now, the 30 nanometer solenoid structure requires further compaction to produce the most compact metaphase chromosome, where DNA is compacted between 5,000 to 10,000 times. Therefore, the 30 nanometer chromatin fiber must be further folded to produce the metaphase chromosome. And the last one, that is the third level of the condensation. Here you see, that is a DNA double helix. This is a DNA double helix. That's shown a ribbon model of the DNA with each ribbon representing one of the sugar phosphate backbones. And then you see there's a beads on strings, that's the proteins that's called the histones that are responsible for the first level of the DNA packing in the chromosome. These are the proteins. And then this is the nucleosomal models, that's the beads on a string, that's the 10 nanometer fibers. That is the next level of the packing, that's the results from the interactions between the histone tails of one nucleosome and the linker DNA and nucleosomes on the either cells. That is a 30 nanometer fibers, and that's model is a solenoid models. And then that's a structure, that's a loop domains. Here the 30 nanometer fiber in terms become loop. That's called the loop domains, and that attached to the chromosome scaffold composed of proteins, thus making up a 300 nanometer fibers. And here you see this is a 300 nanometer structure, it's a part, and here you see there's a condensate cell and decondensate structure here. And ultimately, this is a metaphase chromosome, and in a mitotic chromosomes, the loop domains themselves coils and fold in a manner not yet fully understood, but further compactions and all the chromatids to produce the characteristics metaphase chromosome. And the width of the one chromatid you see here, that is 700 nanometers. So the third level of the chromatin organization, that is a higher order structure, and that is a loop domain structure, 300 nanometer fiber. The 30 nanometer fiber in turn form loops. That is a loop structure here. 30 nanometer fiber that forms a loop structures. And that is attached to the chromosome scaffold composed of proteins and making up 300 nanometer fiber. And the scaffold is rich in one type of topoisomerase. And in a mitotic chromosome, the loop domain themselves coiled and fold in a manner not yet fully understood, but further compactions all the chromatin to produce the characteristic metaphase chromosome, the metaphase chromosome that's composed of two chromatids that exhibit the maximum degree of the condensation. The width of the one chromatid is 700 nanometers, so the metaphase chromosomes are so highly condensed that their morphology can be studied using the light microscope, and that is visible in the divisional phase. Now, it has become clear that incredible compaction is done by the help of non-histone chromosomal proteins, and these proteins form the scaffold that involve in condensation of 30 nanometer chromatin fiber into tightly packed metaphase chromosome. And these non-histone protein scaffolds known as a metaphase scaffold, that is known as a metaphase scaffold. If you see here, this is a scaffold, this is a green color, that is a scaffold, and this is a loop structure, this is a hollow of DNA. Now, electron micrographs of isolated metaphase chromosomes from which all the histones have been experimentally removed. All the histones are experimentally removed. And that reveals a scaffold. That reveals a scaffold or central core, that is a scaffold or the central core, which is surrounded by huge pool or hollow DNA. Examination of these proteins scaffold suggested that many cellular proteins that binds to each other and to the DNA to form the scaffold. And these scaffolding proteins forms a fairly rigid structure that provides a support for the attachment of the radial loop domains of 30 nanometer fiber that's often contain 50,000 to 1 lakh base pair. Now the non-histone proteins making the nuclear scaffold are not clearly known, but they are a diverse groups that includes nuclear lamine, topoisomerase 2, etc., etc. Now, therefore, the protein scaffold constitutes the third level of the chromatin compactions, and these three levels of condensations are required to packing 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 5 mm of DNA in a eukaryotic chromosomes into a metaphase structure. That's a few micron in the long. Now, you see here, that's a heterochromatin. So that is a condensed loop, 700 nanometer diameter, and that's from the heterochromatin. Now the heterochromatin is again two categories: constitutive heterochromatin and facultative heterochromatin. Constitutive heterochromatin that refers to the chromosomal region that are always heterochromatic and permanently inactive with regard to transcription. Constitutive heterochromatin usually contains highly repetitive DNA sequences such as tandem repeats rather than gene expression. On contrary, facultative heterochromatin refers to chromatin that can occasionally interconvert between heterochromatin and euchromatin. As for example, in female mammals, when one of the two X chromosomes is converted to heterochromatic bar body. So these are the structure that show the chromatin packing in a eukaryotic chromosome. That is a summary of my talk. That's a DNA double helix, and here the histone proteins are associated, and that's from the nucleosomal models. That's a 10 nanometer fiber. That's a Wheatson string, and there's a 30 nanometer structure. It is the next level of the packing. This is a solenoid models, and this is a third level of the chromatin structure. That's a loop domain structure, 300 nanometer structure, and ultimate of its chromosome, and that's a replicated chromosomes, and that's the diameter is a 1400 nanometer. Okay. And now, what are the difference in between the chromosomes and the chromatin? Basically, the chromatin fibers is visible in the interphase nucleus, whereas the chromosomes are visible in the divisional phase. And the chromatin fibers is extended uncondensed form of the deoxyribonucleoprotein chains, whereas the chromosomes are coiled condensed form of deoxyribonucleoprotein chains. Chromatin fibers appeared as fine filaments lying crisscross forming chromatin reticulum. Chromosomes appears as short, thick rod-like structure. The chromatin fibers, where the replication of the DNA occurs in the phase of the chromatins, and in case of the chromosomes, the replication of the DNA is suspended in chromosome phase. And these are the reference books: Molecular Biology of the Cells, Albert Sattons; The Cell Molecular Approach, Cooper and Husband; Principles of Genetics, Sunstead and Simons; Instant Note Series, Turner et al. Thank you, everybody.